Hallelujah. Maurice, I want you to come and introduce my brother on this afternoon.
Shalom, family. First and foremost, I want to say everybody looks good this afternoon. It feels nice to see you all out, giving praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. And I just want to give all praise to our Savior and give all praise to the Most High in the name of His only begotten Son, Yah'S. So called Kabod, by Yahweh, Yahweh, by Hashem, Mashiach, by Malak Yah'S. All praises, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, in the name of His Son, Yah'S. So obviously today it's not about any individual, but we want to bring a word out from the permission of Marah Douglas and this gentleman that I'm bringing up next. I actually met here doing a previous conference that we had, and I'm just continuing to seek and search information, and I appreciate Marah Douglas for connecting all of us from different cities, states. So everybody give a round of applause for Marah Douglas. Love you, Marah. So thank him for connecting us. And through the conference, I was able to meet this individual who's going to be bringing out a lesson today. And I appreciate him very much for what he brought out that day, because it attracted me. Our spirits connected, and we've been able to grow for the past year, some change. And I feel like I have a second father and a second mother. So everybody give it up for Miss Gina. I appreciate them very much. And this brother, I've seen his spirit. I've seen that he's very diligent in the work that he's able to do in his studies. When he brings out something, he's went over it multiple times. And we have 2, 3, 4, 5 witnesses to back up what he's saying. And that's something that I appreciate because we all know we've been burned by different things before. And I appreciate his humbleness, because he's not afraid to say, I was wrong. So I just want to give him big ups, big glory, big honor, and praise for his humbleness, for his meekness. Even though he may seem brash and bold at times and strong in his speech, he's very meek. He's very a humble man, because he's not able to not say that he's wrong if he was wrong on something. And this man is very studious. He takes the time. He works 50 hours a week. And in the meantime, all he's doing is building classes, building lessons, reading, studying. So I appreciate him, because even when it was just him and his wife, he had to have faith to continue to do that work. And if he didn't do that work, it wouldn't have opened a door for a brother like me to come in and have a place to grow and fellowship. So I appreciate that work. Because it takes a lot of faith. It takes a lot of faith when you don't see any fruits of the labor at the time. But the whole time, the Most High already knew when the fruit is going to come through. So I appreciate it. And as he's getting set up here, okay. So without further ado, I just want to introduce my brother, Abijah Yah'S.
Shalom, whatever your understanding is. Whatever your understanding is, we greet you in the name of our coming King. You can hear us say Yeshua, Yah'S, Yehoshua. Whatever your understanding is, we salute you. We greet you with a holy kiss in the name of our coming King. And we thank you all for taking the time out to be here today to honor our Father. Before I get started, I want to salute my brother in arms, Douglas, his queen. I want to salute her. Give it up. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I want to salute the laborers here with him, the kitchen staff, the praise and worship team. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. A teacher or leader won't tell you all the time. But Drummer Boy said, that was Will tell. But it's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. It's just not a one-man show. So without all of you being here, it's just sometimes when you repost the truth, that picks us up. Sometimes when you post a song on Facebook, you don't know who was going through that day. So we need all hands on deck to come back to our heritage. So I salute this house. I salute every assembly here. I see our family. I'm gonna get it right today. M.S. MHG. MHG. I see our brothers here. Any other assemblies here? Any other assemblies? We salute you in the name of our coming King. Today is a special day for many different reasons, but today is all about the King, the true King. And how many are coming out of the church? Anybody first? Anybody first Passover Pasach? Anybody first Pasach? Give the most high hand clap. How many God? Come on, give them a hand clap, man. Welcome to the God's clap. They could be getting ready to celebrate Easter, but they're here trying to reconnect to our roots. So we thank the Most High for that. I know y'all hungry, so sip on some water. I want to not be too long before you, but I don't want to shortchange the Most High. Today is a Passover celebration, and what I want to do is I want to share some history with you. And then after I share the history, I want to celebrate and salute our Father, because today is all about the Father. I know when you're coming out of church, where my old school Pentecostals at? Old school Pentecostals, we got one. Y'all might have to take yourselves down. Pentecostals, they like to jump up, run around, backflip. Hey, somebody take them down, take this down. But if you come out of a Sunday church, you learned that resurrection or Easter is all about the Son. And what the Christians did, the pagan Christians, not the Nazarites, what they did, they took the focus off the Father and gave all the glory to the Son. And that's not what Pasach is about. Pasach is about the Father. And if you allow me, be patient, stick with me through the end, I'm going to share some history, and then we'll get into saluting our Father. Is that all right? Hallelujah. So, also, before we get too far gone, as many different flags you see around this building, that's how diverse we are as a people waking up. Some people may not have access to even King James Bible. Some people may not have access to the information you have. So that's not a grounds for bickering and debating and chopping each other down. How many teachers want to think you're a teacher up here? Everybody check their hands. Everybody check their hands. I don't see any holes in anybody's hands. If you don't have holes in your hands, you're not the master teacher. You're not the master teacher. Trying to reconnect and keep our bodies uplifted. So I'm going to share some information with you, and you be Bereans, you take it and verify it. And if it doesn't pan out, ask your leader to contact me with what you found. Because it's about the body, it's not about one man. Too many leaders, and I'm going to look up to the ceiling and talk to the lights. Too many teachers are getting puffed up. You got a book no one brought out yet. You have been to Israel and you've seen this and that, the third. And now no one can question what you're bringing out. The apostles questioned Messiah, and he answered them with patience. So if you're not the master teacher, slow down a little bit. I'm trying to let Jersey come out. So anything we're doing, my little cousin prayed, Yah'S, anything we're doing out of ignorance, it was already covered in the Torah. Any words we're using, we ain't supposed to be using, any days we're celebrating out of ignorance, we already had sacrifices for sins of ignorance. Too many people are coming back, we're bruised, and now you're so rich the best you can with your understanding. That's right. And if your understanding increase, then your experience increase. But if you're only charged with your understanding. So if you never come to another man's understanding, don't let him force his understanding on you. That makes sense? Well, all right. Amen. Now that's out the way. Our king says that obedience is better than sacrifice. So the fact that these people are here, not in Sunday church looking for Easter eggs, that's the reason to celebrate. Yeah. So remember that. You're not marching with them. I don't care if it's 7-day Torah Group, whatever these fancy names they come up with. You march to what you're understanding to God increase your understanding. So I'm gonna ask my readers to get ready, and y'all have patience with us. We're not English speakers. English is not our first language. So we may stumble over this pagan tongue because it's a filthy tongue. But I want to open up with Exodus chapter 12, verse 27, if we can. Exodus chapter 12, verse 27. Shema, when you have it, Shema is just a Hebrew word, means I'm ready to listen, I'm ready to hear. That's all Shema means. Exodus 12 and verse 27. Shema, read.
That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of Yah'S Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Yasharallah in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed their head and worshipped. Continue.
That's Exodus 12:27.
Mm-hmm.
Read it again.
That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of Yah'S Passover.
The sacrifice of who?
Yah'S Passover.
Whose?
Yah'S Passover.
See how right there that a Christian pastor be already born. It's Yah'S Passover. Yeah. This is his Passover. When he passed over our sins, he overlooked our transgressions because we had a generation in Egypt. So this is the new generation in Egypt. And he's still overlooking all our faults through the blood of his son. But today the focus is on the Father. If you bear with us and have patience, we're going to show you why we esteem the Son. We praise the Father, but we esteem the Son above all names. He's the name every knee's going to bow to. So I should have set the tone. This is about the Father, the great I am. Okay? So I see a mixed crowd. We got a couple generations here. We're my generation that got outside and got scraped up. Rode bikes and fell off your bikes, fell out of trees. Was outside so long, your mom said you look black. We're a generation, we didn't grow up with these phones and these game games.
That's right, that's right.
We grew up outside, getting into trouble and discovering things. I want to share this one clip with you, this 30-second clip with you. Just bear with us if you could. So today's objective, we're going to restore all honor and glory to the great I am. We're going to put this feast in its proper perspective. And then we're going to esteem the only begotten Son, because it's by his blood that we're still a people. So those are our goals, y'all willing. So where my double Dutch girls at? Where my double Dutch girls at? We done lost the young folks. We done lost the young folks.
That's right.
You young folks don't understand. If you want to see two Hebrew women go at it, mess up her turn. Mess up her turn. You better turn right. I turn right for you. Susie can stop speaking for weeks because she messed my turn up. Because I was about to pass her. So for my young generations who stayed inside and didn't go outside, I'm going to share this short clip with you. And we're going to do our best so you can hear the sound. But I want you to a quick 30-minute clip, a 30-second clip, so the young folks understand what double Dutch is, right? Okay. I'm sorry, but it's a lot. So, for the young folks who don't know what double dutch is and how serious this game is to the sisters, we're going to show you this little clip.
Liberated. In my age group, over 40, already have to jump through a lot of people. This is just what we do. Juggling bills, kids, jobs, husbands. And so some of us kind of goes right in line with that. For fitness, for fun.
Y'all see that sister in the background right here? Keep your eye on her. I'm going to bring it back. I want you to hear what she first says when she starts talking, right? Just the first 30 seconds. But when we get to this part again, keep your eye on the sister in the back, because she's important. So I'm going to bring it back real quick.
I do with the women, I love it. There's a rhythm.
Y'all heard what she said? You would see these girls, they're trying to get the rhythm with the turners. It's a rhythm, right? And for my young folks who grew up with all these games, I'm going to take it back to the sister to show you what she's talking about.
Uplifted, liberated, everything.
Young folks.
In my age group, over 40, we already have to jump through a lot of people. This is just what we do. Juggling bills, kids, jobs, husbands. And so
the sister in the back, you want to see her. See right there? She's trying to get the rhythm of the rope. I'm trying to get the rhythm of the rope to get inside the rope and do double dutch. Now I want to look towards the lights, or y'all look at your Bibles or phones really concentrate. I'm gonna ask you a question. It's for all of us. How many came into this Hebrew awakening and you was doing the study, verifying everything, and then you got convinced, and then you just jumped in rhythm with the assembly that you found close to you? Can we all be honest? I'm convinced, because first I thought I'm crazy, now I'm convinced we are the people, now I'm convinced the commandments are alive, now I'm just jumping in rhythm with the closest assembly. Now let me show you what happens when you jump in rhythm, but you stop and get complacent. You can jump in rhythm, but don't get complacent and stop there. I salute all my soldiers, my brothers in arms on the front lines. It's a lot of work being a teacher, but it's also heavy being a disciple. Because what happens, how many mothers in here? Anybody here with their mother? Well, you can't answer this test. But y'all remember that day, that moment that you realize, I know more than mom, I know more than dad in this particular subject? Not in life, but in this particular subject. Now we grew up in a situation, we grew up in a generation you better not let dad know you know more than him. Because he has fire to let you know who runs his house. But in this Hebrew awakening, you'll get to a point where you may learn more than the person who baptized you. You may learn more than the person who brought you in. And if they're not humble enough, they're trying to lock you in and keep you where they're at. And you gotta seek Yah. Like they open up, you seek Yah above everything. You don't let your wife, your husband, anybody hold you back. So if you were a teacher who's not humble enough to say, let me take a look at this, bro. Let me take a look at this. You were the wrong teacher. And I'm not here to recruit anybody. Trust me. My people know we don't recruit. It's hard. Anybody want to be a leader, you don't understand the magnitude of it. That's why I salute my eye. But you students, you disciples, it's heavy. Because now you gotta make a decision. Do I try to teach my teacher on this position? Or do I move on? Because if you stay in rhythm with him, but you're out of rhythm with Yah, what's the end result? Why you want World Star to YouTube? So we want to make sure that we're in rhythm with the Most High Yah. I don't see elder in here, but I try to support all the righteous people that I know. Even though I may not know you intimately. If I feel that you're righteous, I see you, I try to support you in your let me get it. Rabbi and Queen, his queen, I try to support them. I try to support Elder with his book club. And I heard Elder say the other day, he said this, like, people are getting too puffed up where you can't be questioned. So you gotta be a Berean and vet everybody's information. So this is about the Most High Yah. Let's go to Exodus 12:2. I'm gonna go into some history. I'm trying to get through these slides because we're still in the habit of being entertained. And entertaining has got us lost and stuck and stupid. So we gotta learn to mature ourselves. We can sit and be students in here. Some of us are geeks like this table here. Right? They will sit for hours with this stuff. Some of us just give me the Cliff Notes, give me the fast food meal. And we're so far behind the 8 ball, none of this is fast food. Take your time and vet it. And the person who presented it, if they don't build their case sufficiently with 2 or 3 witnesses, because that was already in the Torah. Any position I offer, I should have 2 or 3 witnesses. And then we should be able to interrogate those witnesses. Are your witnesses Talmudists? Are they descendants of the rabbis who killed Messiah? Well, your witnesses are garbage to me. So just because you produce a source, I got an ancient source. It don't matter. Only a remnant was sustained with Masha. So you vet everybody's material. Exodus 12:2. Shema, read.
This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
This month shall be the beginning of months, the first month of the year. Nowhere does he mention the sun. Nowhere does he mention anything about an equinox. It's none of this, right? Let's get the second witness. Let's go to Leviticus 23:4. If they're presenting things not in the text, I'm gonna need sources. I'm gonna need your witnesses. Why should I follow this and none of the righteous ancients ever mentioned this? I don't care what kind of ancient document you have. Where is it at in the Torah? Leviticus 23:4. Read.
These are the feasts of Yah'S, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons.
So we're reading adulterated text from the pagans. That word seasons does not relate to a temperature. That word season in the Hebrew is ma'adim, the river. That's why I opened up with the double Dutch. So our word for season is ma'adim. The ma is the flow, the water. I've got the pictographs back there, very powerful tools. So ma'adim is the flow, the ad means to continue. And then the da, the door, is the pathway. So ma'adim, get in rhythm with Abba Yah. Let's go to the next witness, Numbers 9 and 5. I know this is boring, you're not used to it, so I'm gonna try to rush through it. But if y'all feel like you're being rushed, I can't slow down. But I know it's a school night. I know Hebrews want to eat. Hebrews 9 and 5, Shema.
Shema.
Read.
And they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month at evening. At the evening in the wilderness of Sinai.
So even away from home, outside of Canaan, and it's at evening. So when you're celebrating feasts, the bare minimum requirements, you have to do what he asked you to do. Everything else is icing on the cake. Don't let anyone tell you how to run your feast. If I'm covering what God says, everything else, we got liberty. You got people telling you, well, y'all should be doing this, you should be having this. Book, chapter, and verse, I like to borrow from the brothers. If I want to have potatoes, as long as we got bitter herbs and the lamb that's required, everything else, as long as it's not leavened, we can have it. That makes sense? We got 3 witnesses that this feast is the 14th day of the month at evening. None of these witnesses mention the sun, mention the equinox, none of this stuff, right? So there's been I don't know how long y'all been around, but it's been going on for years. The topics come and go, new people come up, they rehash the topic. But it's a debate that the word for month in the Bible is not related to the moon. So we got, the Hebrew language has synonyms. And the most common word you're going to read in the text for moon is kadash. So this is right off Blue Letter Bibles. It's not a complicated tool, but you can see the Strong's number. And kadash, I'm going to show you how these pagans, even these lexicons, you got to filter them through a Hebraic lens. These Hebraists, these scholars, they're not Israelites. If they can't process the hieroglyphs, they don't know the language, they don't know the culture. It's not being big, it's not, that's the facts of the case. Just keep listening to them speak, and their explanations, like right here, can y'all see that it says lunar month? Y'all see lunar month? That's redundant. That's like saying wet water. Israelite knows we track the months by the moon. If you Google the etymology of the word month, even the pagans take it back to moon. So when people try to tell you that we don't track by the moon, produce your witnesses. Produce your witnesses. So how many have heard in every little bit, every lie is a little bit of truth? We don't split hairs over pronunciations and dialects. That's just nonsense. We're adults, right? But even with these lexicons, they tell the truth, they expose themselves. Y'all source for y'all lexicons are Israelites who knew the original language, because the original root of Kadash is telling you pronunciation as short A sound. Kadash. So always go beneath the surface. Don't stop. These scholars and these sages, they're very crafty. So in every bit of lie is some truth, but you see the word pronunciation right there is Kadash. Kadash, right? And to show you that they don't always know what they're talking about, they give you one of the definitions: to renew, to make anew. To renew, make anew. And to them it makes sense, but they're not Israelites. They wasn't with our ancestors, the apostles. So they're getting information second and third hand. So to the Protestants and then these Israelites who are following Talmudic ways, that makes sense to them. But when you put that word back into the hieroglyphs, you get a different understanding. So the word in Hebrew, the original tongue, and we start, for those who are new, we start from the right and read left. The Greeks switched everything. They adulterated everything. So that first character is a picture of a tent wall. It gives us the ka sound. The second in the middle, that's a tent door, the da sound. And then the last one is 2 front teeth. That's why when you put your 2 front teeth, it's the sha sound. We run this together, Kadash. Now, all praise to Abba Yah. How many seen the new crescent last night? Somebody get the Most High hand clap. Outsiders looking afar, the pagan Christians who became Catholics, became Protestants, they didn't understand. So they was like, they worship the moon. No, it was already in the Torah, don't worship my creation. But the moon for us is a tracker, it's a timepiece. So when you understand what these glyphs means, the tent wall, you see the divider in the middle. So in most contexts, the tent wall is dividing something. And then the tent door, the tent door, it flaps in and out. It's a path. Quick running in and out my house. So the tent wall is separating, the tent door representing a path, and then the 2 front teeth is separation. That new crescent is separating our dividing of time. It's separating last month from this month. For my new people, See my white face. Let me explain myself. We teach against spirits, not against flesh and blood. So when you see my fire, my passion come up, it's because I know what's out there. I know what's being taught to our people. So I'm not teaching against any man assembly. I don't do what's beef. We're Israelites. We're holy people. We don't deal with that. So don't be put off or he's kind of, no. We're going to get ancient spirits, and they love confusion. Our Abba has haters all around us, right? So don't be put off by this passion. But last night, we got confirmation that our new month has started. And if you're taking notes, write down Jeremiah 31. When you get to Jeremiah 31, it's the promise of our new covenant. And then I believe when he gets to like 25 on down, Father's saying, if you could change my ordinances with the sun and the moon and the star, then Israel would forget to be my people. But as long as you see that sun in the morning and that new crescent, we're still the holy people. Don't listen to these kings that star, those sun mean to me, I'm still a holy people. Hallelujah. So another thing, learn something on the way to learning something, is confusion of which one is the new moon. How I learned to process it. Last night, it was kind of the pictures, video. The new crescent came in like a smiley face. But the one you had was like a smiley face. Some months it comes in like this. So how I process it, if it's a backwards C, that's the new month. That's the new crescent. It's going to start waxing greater. And then when it starts fading out, it's going to be a perfect C. And that means it's getting ready to disappear. That's how I keep it. So that's, you find your rhythm. But the other word that people realize that, that's the true word for moon, and it's never used in scripture. They say the word Yarok. Anybody ever heard the word Yarok?
No.
When you see the Y's, because we're Greeks, turn the Y's back into J's. So Yarok in the Bible is Jericho. So a righteous Israelite would never use the word Jericho. Anybody know why? Jericho was the moon god to the last set of Canaanites that we destroyed. Joshua marched us around on the day of their new moon celebration or their Sabbath celebration. So us righteous Israelites, even though we know that this means moon too, I was said, I don't even want to hear the other God's name in your mouth. So righteous Israelite, we stay away from this. But when you know the function of these characters, it's still giving you the same function. Yah, the arm of a man, that's why we say Yah'S. He's the Most High's right arm. That's the Yah sound. The head of the man is the Ra sound, and then you got the tip wall give you the Ka sound. It could be Ka or Cha. We won't know till we get the ancients. So some people use the Cha, some people use the Ka. We don't know yet. But the function of these characters, the arm, with your arm, you fashion things, you manufacture things. So Yah is forming the separation. So that word Yarok fits the description of the moon, its function, but we don't use it because of Jericho. Psalm 81:3, can we go to because now the next issue is, okay, I see that. Now, which one is it? Is it the full moon or is it the crescent moon? And it's an ongoing debate. And the reason it's no fault of anyone but our own. We fell and missed the commandments. So you're going to hear me talk about the Khazars and the Gentiles, but the fault's on us, really. Fault's on us. Psalms 81:3, come on. Read.
Blow the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed, in our solemn feast day.
Blow the trumpet in the new moon in the time appointed. So if you check this verse in the lexicon, the time appointed is a Hebrew word, kashah. And if you listen to these pagans, kashah to them means full moon. So a lot of people who stay on the surface, they say, see, it's right here in Psalm 81. He's saying blow up the trumpet on the new moon, and it's the full moon. But you got to hone in on their little lies they put right in your face. You see this word, apparently? Y'all see apparently?
Yeah.
What apparently means, family?
Possibilities.
They don't really know.
I don't know. Mom, Dad, I'm apparently pregnant. What? Is you pregnant or not? Apparently so. Apparently so. So these kids, they put little safe words in their research as a back. IT people in here? IT people? No IT people? This is like their back door, their loophole where they can edit and update and say, yeah, we said apparently. We didn't know. So you gotta hone in on that. Apparently, they don't know. They're guessing. So again, in every line is a little bit of truth. Always click on the root when you go to these lexicons. Click on the root. The root of kasa, again, you see those short A sounds right there? Kasa, it's been there the whole time, right? But then it says, it comes down here from the root, to cover, clothe, to be covered, conceal. Y'all see that? We all family here. Can we relax? Can we let our hair down? If you got to take your teeth out. I don't took my shoes off. How many here, if you get it wrong, we family, we're going to help each other out. How many here will process that conceal refers to the new moon, to the full moon? No one. How could you process that the full moon is concealed? You can see that in the valley. You can see the full moon, you can see that in the valley. They were sending elders to the mountaintops to search for the crescent to begin a new month. So how can the full moon be the new moon when you can see that? I don't have to send no watchers out for that. So again, you have to learn how to extract the truth from their lies. We're behind any lies. So, some slides didn't see. All right, 46. No, I actually made the slides of what kasa means. So I just explained it to you, the slides. I must have seen multitasking doing things. Teachers know how it goes. So when you process the characters for the word kasa is the palm of the hand for the ka sound. The sa is an old-fashioned, where he has it at? The old-fashioned sticker push. Who grew up with no TV? Yeah. Who grew up without cable TV? How many remember the rabbit ears? That hieroglyph that look like the antenna, that's the sa sound. And then the last character is a ha, a man with his hands up. Yeah. And that means to see someone or to behold something. So when you put those characters together, the palm of the hand, God's hand is hiding what you see. And that's the crescent. Because his hand is not in front of the full moon. The whole world can see that. You don't make me work up. That's why we be in class so long. That's why we these people. Right. So thank you. That's what soldiers in the field. Soldiers in the field. So the palm of the hand, Yah is the side, he's protecting what you see. So he slowly removes his hands and it becomes full. So that's how we know this type of moon is the start, the demarcation of a new month, if that makes sense. Thanks for that, Ryan. I'm getting old, I can't keep up. Oh, crazy. So we've been duped and run amok, and guess who started duping us? Our own people. Most of what we're learning, the Israelite, or they call it Jewish history, it's been preserved by the Talmudists. The Talmudists were those who grew up in Babylon, and they got sucked into sun worship. They got slick and learned how to hide their sun worship. Let's go to Ezekiel 8:16. Sun worship is ancient paganism. We picked it up from Babylon, Egypt, Greece, all the nations of sun worship. And they're polytheistic, the sun and everything. So sun worship is not new. Our elders, I call them Talmudists. They are the rabbis who killed Messiah. They got slick and hid sun worship. Ezekiel 8:16. Read.
And he brought me into the inner court of Yah'S house, And behold, at the door of the temple of Yahweh, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men with their backs toward the temple of Yahweh and their faces toward the east, and they worshiped the sun toward the east.
So that's in direct violation of the Most High's word. When Solomon built his first temple, Solomon prays his Father, if or when you scatter your children and even the strangers, if they pray toward this building, hear them in the land of their captivity. So these people are home. They don't have to face the east because they got the temple. So they have turned their backs on Yah's altar and they're facing the sun, worshiping the sun. These are your mommies and daddies. I'm playing. So sun worship is not new, family. This is a resource. It's right on the line. This link is still active. I checked the other night, and we're going to show you hidden sun worship. If anyone wants a presentation of these slides, 7th day, you get in touch with your head. He will get in touch with me, and I will share an account. He will disseminate it to his body. Anybody else here, if you're under a leader, you go through your leader and ask your leader to contact. If you're not under a body, you can send an email to TorahGroup12@gmail.com. We're not here recruiting, but we got to do things with decency and order. So this website is still active, so you can go here and verify this whole article. This is some history. You guys can't see it. Can you guys see the screen? So I'll read it. So this is about Constantine and the rabbis who were trying to appease Constantine. We always got that, not Uncle Tom, because that was a myth. That was Uncle Tom Bean got money up. We always have that Sambo who says, well, I'm gonna play nice with the heathen and he's gonna treat me nice. That's what these Talmudists did. I'm gonna appease Constantine and I'm gonna follow Constantine Roman, or not Gregorian yet. I'm gonna follow Constantine sun calendar and he's gonna grant us privileges and we want maybe the tributary will be decreased or even done away with. That's what this article is talking about, right? So it says, these facts are freely admitted by Jewish scholars, Israelite scholars. Rabbi Louis Finkelstein of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America was selected by the Yah'S, Jewish communities of the world as one of the 120 top Jews who best represented a lamp of Judaism to the world. In a letter to Dr. L.E. Froome, dated February 20th, 1939, Finkelstein readily admitted the present Jewish calendar was fixed in the 4th century. What's the 4th century? 300. Maimonides, anybody know who Maimonides is? He has a nickname Rambam. Rambam, he's a famous Talmudist around the 1100. A lot of what we've been learning comes from Rambam. 613 commandments, who counted them? Can I see a tally sheet? Rambam came up with that. And isn't it ironic? 613, 6 plus 1 is what? 7 plus 3 is what? He's playing with numerology. They got that from Persia. That's Kabbalism. So 613 comes from Rambam. Maimonides and most other Jewish chronologers agreed that the modern Jewish calendar is based on the mean motions of the sun and moon. Mean here is a math term, the average. So you don't even exactly know. You came up with a calculation, and now your calendar is sort of right. I'm sort of right. I'm sort of pregnant. Apparently. So the Jewish calendar is based upon the mean motion of the sun and moon, and the true calendar hasn't been set aside. Now, let me just keep reading. The true calendar is very user-friendly. The weekdays and the Sabbaths of each lunar month always falls on the exact same dates of every month. 8, 15, 22, 29. That's what he's saying. We don't have Saturday is the 1st this month, and Saturday is the 8th. Where do you get that from? When you learn how to track it, it's 8, 15, 22, and 29. He says, they fall on the exact same dates of every month. Days of the weeks do not float through the monthly dates. We don't know about Monday through Saturday. That's Babylonian planets. The 1st is the 1st. The 14th is going to be the 14th. I don't care what Rome is doing. My Abba says the 14th day of this moon at sunset, we're partying. We don't care about Roman calendar. He says, The days of the month, every days of the week do not flow through the monthly, through the monthly dates as they do now on the modern calendar. After Hillel II, he's a famous Talmudist, after Hillel II fixed the calendar to fit into the Julian framework. Julius Caesar, Julius Caesar. In 44 BC, Julius Caesar, they married the Khazarian family. They told us they're Caesars, they're Khazars. They were honoring their marriage to the Khazars, the Ukrainians. So Julius Caesar, he adopted it in 44 BC. He says no more new moon announcements. You catch somebody going to see the new moon, kill him. He fell in love with Cleopatra in Egypt, and he adopted the Egyptian sun worship that they got from their cousins, the Babylonians. So that's what Hillel II, Julian, I'm going to follow your calendar. That's why we got every Saturday. How do you start the month with a Sabbath? You ain't work 6 days. This is the question we got to ask. So he says, Hillel fixed the calendar to fit into a Julian framework and moved the observance of the 7th-day Sabbath from the lunar week to the continuously cycling Julian week. Difficulties arose. I bet they did. Difficulties arose. Sometimes the new moon would appear on a Julian days of the week, which caused the annual feast to fall on the wrong days of the new week. As a result, rules of postponement were established. It says Yah ordered rules of postponement? No. Did it say Yah'S practice postponement? No. So when you got people, no blame, no gain, no name, no gain, whatever you want to say, people the 13th month, I'm gonna need some receipts. There's nowhere in the text about 13 months. For those of you new, remember, we got sacrifices for sins of ignorance. If you didn't know it, God's not mad at you. We were in the land, in the book of Nehemiah, and they just found the Torah and said, oh, we're supposed to be keeping tabernacles. And they spoke Hebrew. So don't get all bogged down if you done fell in line with false doctrine. There's no record of 13 months. This rule of postponement comes from these Talmudists. So with the power of Yah, I was able to break their code. And we presented this last year in 2021 during our Passover. And this is at the top, you got 1 through 19. What they do, they done made this Babylonian math from the Babylonian astrologers. It's a 19-year cycle. In these 19 years, we're going to have 7 years where we got to add an additional month for Adar 2. Book, chapter, and verse, you find Adar 2. These Talmudists have pushed sun worship on us. They have pushed sun worship on us. So what I was able to see, I told the family, I said, I think 2022, they're going to have 13 months. I said, then 2027, and then 2033. If you're basing your postponement on the condition of barley, how can we catch your rhythm? How do you already know in 2033 the barley's not going to be ripe, so you got to add a 13th month? More importantly, which Torah law says that the barley's not ready at a 13th month? Because the months are tied to the priests. The priests were ordered to serve in their order. So who's going to serve this additional month? These are all things been pushed on us by the Talmudists. So, try to pick up some speed here. So this resource, I think this is a man, y'all seminary trained people, PhD people, like their little system. I'm a PhD, I'm a doctor. This is by Dr. Joseph Cullen, The Antiquities of the Church. He says, ultimately, errors will compound in the Julian calendar, and important ecclesiastical dates will drift away from the historical time. Several centuries after this was discovered, the church, the Catholics, the Protestants studied the problem, but could not arrive at a reasonable solution. Pope Gregory XIII commissioned a study to find a solution to the problem. When you separate from Abba Yah, you don't know what's going on. So Rome is trying to hide their sun worship and hide the fact they're not in rhythm with Abba Yah. Rome is trying to hide this. So by the time Pope Gregory commissioned the study, the equinox had drifted 10 days from Passover. In addition, astronomical new moons were occurring 4 days before the ecclesiastical new moons. What's the day on their calendar? What's the day on the Roman calendar? April what? April 3rd?
Yeah.
When did the new moon came in? New moon came in last night. So by the father's count, that's what he means astronomical. By the father's count, today is the 1st of the month. Rome says it's the 3rd. You're telling on yourself. You're telling on yourself, right? He says, let me drop down. Pope Gregory issued the papal bull, on February 24th. Listen to this. He issued a papal bull on February 24th, 1582. The result was that on October the 4th, 1582, was followed by October the 15th, 1582. How do you erase 11 days overnight? And now you think you're going to fall in line with their calendar if you honor Yah? You can't honor Yah with Rome's calendar. It's not an attack or a slight. This is the facts of the case. If you want the truth, you got to dig for it, because these people are confederate against us. So this is the Easter controversy. This is also available online free of charge. Ancient Church History by Joseph A. Cullen. He's a doctor, a seminary, all the titles they take. So the church grew up with only a loose form of organization. Rome didn't know what to do. Rome was trying to spy over to Asia, over to Ephesus, because John was still living, and what they're doing in Ephesus. So the Roman Catholic Church didn't know what to do, right? I'm going to drop down for the sake of time. The first clash of opposing customs occurred over the date of Easter. Do we celebrate Easter? You already don't know what we're doing. We said last night in Shabbat, where my Sanford and Son crowd at? Where's Sanford and Son at? Y'all remember Smitty the cop and the white cop?
Yeah.
Y'all remember how the white cop was like, yeah, we about to go take a split. No, we about to go split. And that's what these pagans they've been ear hustling. Go see what the Israelites, aka the Jews, are doing. Oh, I think he said, no. They've been ear hustling, trying to mock us or mimic us, and they wait off. So they're clashing between the dates of Easter, right? That's what we need from there. They're clashing. At this time, a question of no small importance arose. For the parishes of all Asia, that's Israelite, that's Ephesus, the 7 churches of Revelations, that's Asia. As from older tradition, these are Israelites. These are Nazarites who believe in Messiah. John is still alive, and he just died here. As from an older tradition, held that the 14th day of the moon, being the day on which the Jews, Israelites, were commanded to sacrifice the lamb, should be observed as the feast of the Savior's Passover. Is it the Savior's Passover? You see how they're ear hustling? You don't know what we're doing. It's the Father's Passover. So he says, and it was necessary, therefore, to end their fast on that day, on whatever the day of week it may happen to fall. It was like, we don't care about your Roman calendar. Oh, I'm sorry, your Babylonian calendar. We don't care about Monday, Tuesday. We're stopping work. We're celebrating our Pasach this night because our Father said, right? That's all we need from that. So now we're going to get into some ancient Israelites and some righteous Gentiles who learned under our righteous Israelites. It says, he fell asleep at Ephesus, talking about John. John who wrote Revelations, he fell asleep at Ephesus, right? And further, Polycarp and Smyrna, both a bishop and martyr, all of these observed the 14th day of Passover according to the gospel, according to the report, according to the Pasora. We don't care what Rome's doing. We're following what Moses got, right? Listen to this. Deviating in no respect, but following the rules of faith. They didn't keep a 13th month. They didn't say March the 25th is the equinox, let's count 14. None of that. You don't find that in our scrolls, family. All the ancient Nazarites kept what Moses got from Abba. More witnesses. You got to bring receipts because we're dark skinned, right? No one believes us. You got to keep bringing receipts. And we got bald heads. No, don't trust us. So this is why it's so dangerous This is why it's so dangerous to stop on the surface or to get in rhythm with people not in rhythm with God. This is Two Babylons by Alexander Hislop, and this is a PDF available online, free of charge. All this $2.99 for my class for the first month and $40 every 30 days. Book, chapter, and verse. The apostles didn't charge. If you could help the community, help the community. What charging classes for? Paul worked all day with his life on the line and still taught at night. Now you done got some books and been to Israel, now you want to charge them. Sick of madness. The reason why this is a powerful witness, this is a Roman Catholic priest, and he's pulling the skirt up on his own people, the Romans. He's a Catholic priest. He says, if Baal was thus worshipped in Britain, now, why that's so powerful, Baal was worshipped in Britain. Constantine is from Britain. Constantine wasn't a Roman, he just conquered the Roman Empire and ruled the world. But Constantine was from Britain. So if Baal was thus worshipped in Britain, it would not be difficult to believe that his consort, Astarte, Astar, Easter, was adored by our ancestors, and from Astarte, whose name in Libya was Ishtar, the religious solemnities of April are now practiced. So the Talmudists push the date out to April because you're not worshiping Yah or his son, you're worshiping Ashtar. That's why it's dangerous when you don't understand the culture. He continues on for the second time. I just dropped down. Lose my voice. That festival agreed originally with the time of the Jewish Passover. So he says originally when we became Christians, pagans, Catholics, originally Easter was in line with the Pasach because we was copying off the Israelites. He says that festival agreed originally with the time of the Jewish Passover when Christ was crucified, a period in which in the days of Tertullian at the end of the 2nd century was believed to have been the 23rd of March. The 23rd of March. How you drift the whole 30 days off after all these years? This is hidden sun worship that the people have pushed on us. I know this is boring stuff, but we got to go through it. So those hieroglyphs are so powerful because this is the language that Yah restored to Abraham. No other man has this restored to him but Abraham, and he passed it on to his descendants. So you know the first month, if you've been around, as Abib. And what they did, remember, we start from the right side. That ox head is the A, the 10th floor plan is the B. They turned this arm, this Yah, into an I. And now they say Abib. But Abib has no meaning. Abib has no meaning. When you understand what these glyphs means, it's Ab-Yah or Abba-Yah. We don't know exactly how to pronounce it until we hear the ancients. So we do the best we can with our speech pattern. Me and Des from up top, so we speak fast. We're talking to you, watching the door. See him on his pocket table. So depending on your dialect, you pronounce it the best you can. So we say Ab-Yah or Abba-Yah. And when you understand what this means, if you run it as Ab, the father, Yah, he's forming, Ba means inside the tent. So the first month, Abba is forming the strength inside the earth. You'll start to see the grass come back up. One of my brothers who landscape, you about to get your money season. You'll start seeing the dandelions first, their little heads will pop up, and then you'll see the white little things pop up. We used to make wishes with them. You done lost your young folks again. You done lost your young folks. We had to make up our game. We didn't have no money. They asked for 50 on our cell phone. Better go out there and play some marbles. But you'll start to see the white things come on the dandelions, and then when you come home from work, you'll notice the dandelion has a whole afro. And then in a couple weeks, he's gonna turn yellow. This is Abba-Yah. Father is creating the strength inside the earth. Right now, if you go outside, it's like, it's here. It's not being created, it's not being formed. The trees are already budded. I done cut my grass once already, gotta cut them off. How many people cut their grass? So we already passed the first month when you recognize the sign. We already passed the first month. So, because I don't want to be the only one crazy, I started observing the Father's creation. And I said, I'm dark-skinned, I'm bald. I need witnesses. So this first one is from, y'all can see it must have disappeared. This is from 2022. I believe this is from February 2021. In February 2021, and this is a video, I can't play it on thing. This is a bee in February 2021 already pollinating a flower. I don't know if I can play. Y'all can't see it anyway, so it won't matter. It don't matter. But back in February of last year, a bee had already started pollinating a flower. If anyone knows what time we're in, it's the animals, it's the insects. And that's February. The same thing this year. I started seeing dandelions pop up in my yard in January, when we still have ice and snow down. So start observing things around you. And the best question we always get is a very valid question. That's why don't be ashamed to ask questions. And teachers, if you don't know, don't make stuff up that sounds good. But that was deep, I killed you. If you don't know, I don't know. Let's study this together. I don't have all the answers. But you'll start to see Father's creation because the creation don't lie. Creation don't lie. So my queen was at work, and she said one of her employees got all excited. They said I guess she was an Asian, and she said, "Oh yeah, it's Chinese New Year." And I said, "Oh wow, baby!" So I Googled it, and this is off Britannica.com. The Lunar New Year, whatever, drops down. The lunar calendar is based on the cycles of the moon. So the dates of the holiday vary slightly from year to year. It varies slightly from year to year when you use Rome's calendar as your base. That's why people say, y'all drifting. What you mean I'm drifting? I'm on the 14th day of the moon. If you use Rome as your base and Rome is your master, it's like you're drifting away from Rome. I don't care about Rome. I'm listening to Abba Yah. He said the 14th day of this moon is the 14th day of this moon. So this year, their Chinese New Year came in exactly February something. And I'm like, wow, that's confirmation that we're in line. Even the Chinese people had their New Year in February this year. So that's a website you can visit at your own leisure. So let's get back to some Torah. I see y'all eyes getting low. Let's get back to some scripture, right? That's what y'all came for. The borders of the earth. Take us to Psalms or Tehillim or Psalms 74 and 17. Psalms or Tehillim, praise. 74 and 17. Shemai? Psalm 74 and 17. Read.
Thou hast set all the borders of the earth. Thou hast made summer and winter.
So what?
Thou hast set all the borders of the earth.
So the borders of the earth are set, and what are the borders of the earth?
Thou hast made summer and winter.
Summer, you miss fall and autumn, huh? Spring? Yes. You've got spring and autumn.
Thou hast made summer and winter.
All through our text is 2 seasons. Abba gave us 2 seasons, summer and winter, we say cold and hot. It's just that Abba's the master planner. I'm not going to spray ice on you. You ain't got a chance to get your snow shovel ready. So he gradually brings on things. If you're paying attention, it's getting cool. So it's time to plant my winter crops. Right now, how many of you got your gardens ready? Yakanan? No.
We're moving. We're coming here.
Oh, that's good.
Not right now.
So right now, people are getting their gardens ready because they're paying attention to the signs. We have 2 seasons, summer and winter, right? Let's get another witness, Amos 3:15. We got to produce witnesses because, hey, we're dirtbags. No one believes us. I didn't go to Hebrew University. I ain't been to Israel. I can't afford a ticket. What, a ticket about $1,000? No. So since we don't have all these labels and these shiny things, and we got to produce all these witnesses. But you're sitting in front of him with a $3,000 symbol on and a necktie and phallus symbol around his neck. So he got DDHD behind his name and A through Z. And he got a mega church. He has no truth in his building. No truth in his building. Amos 3:15. Sean, read.
And And I will smite the winter house with the summer house.
I will smite the winter house with the summer house. Again, another witness, he doesn't mention the spring house, the autumn house, the fall house. All he says is the winter house and the summer house. 2 seasons. Last witness, next witness, Jeremiah 36. Jeremiah 36:22. Shemai, read.
Now the king sat in the winter house in the 9th month.
What month?
The 9th month.
What month?
The 9th month.
The king sat in the winter house, and it was the 9th month. When does the Romans say they start their winter? December. They start their month, the 12th month on their calendar. Our winter's already started. The 9th month, we're in the 2nd month of winter, because he gives us 6 months of cold and 6 months of heat. The king sat in his house in the winter month, and it was in his winter house, and it was the 9th month. By our 9th month, our seasons has changed. It's winter. We know nothing about a fall or autumn. All that is Greek adulteration. Last witness, because you know how many teachers here been accused, all y'all do is teach the Old Testament. Y'all heard that? I mean, y'all heard that? Oh no, this is what I do is read the Old Testament. That's been nailed to the cross. I want a new covenant. So I like to go give us some of that New Testament, right? John 10:22. Shemai? John 10:22. New Testament, so-called New Testament. Read.
And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedication, and it was winter.
It was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedication. Anybody know what the feast of dedication is called? Hanukkah. And it was what?
It was winter.
It was winter. When is the feast of Hanukkah, family? What month on the Hebrew calendar? It's the Hebrew calendar. Maccabees. It's the 9th month. 9th month. The Feast of Dedication, we had beat the Greeks down with a small army. God delivered us from the Greeks when the Greeks had us. And we took the temple back and cleansed it out of all that wickedness and lit the manures back up. It was the 9th month, the 25th of the 9th month. Double check me always. But here's Messiah himself in your so-called New Testament. He's about to celebrate the Feast of Dedication, Hanukkah, during the winter, and the winter is the 9th month. Was on point? So dedication is the 9th month. Always double check, because you see the gray hairs. My memory ain't sharp no more. So you got 4 witnesses. The 9th month for us is winter. Our winter is about over because we got 6 months of cold, 6 months of heat, right? This is a document, again, online. You don't have to spend no money, family. This is a PDF. Google Books has a lot of books they scan and make PDFs, so don't go out there spending all your change up. Go to Google Books and type in these titles. This is Smith's Bible Dictionary. I forgot what year he published this, right? But he says, he's talking about the climate of Israel. Gosh, where we come from. He's talking about our climate, right? He says, there is a wet and dry season. In the wet, the winter, the rains. The rains fall in 2 series of showers called the early and the latter rain. Sound familiar to anybody? That's the Torah. You keep these laws, I'm going to give you the early rain and the latter rain. So in Jerusalem, when we're lawful, God is sending our rain like clockwork. We don't need your irrigation pumps. No, take that out of here. That's wickedness. You're trying to circumvent God and follow his commandments, bring all these hoses in. Father says, if you keep my commandments, I'm going to give you the early rain and the latter rain, right? He says, the latter rain, with occasional lighter showers between and many clear sunny days. The loss of rain is sure to affect the harvest, and a total want of rain would destroy all the crops. From April to November, there is scarcely a cloud. A cloud. From April to November, there is scarcely ever a cloud, right? The dews are heavy on them like small showers. Get this document. What you got over here is hard to read because this document, I believe, is from the 1800s or 1700s or something. But it starts to show you the rainfall in Jerusalem. And if you can see here, the rainfall in September in inches is blank. The rainfall in September is blank. The rainfall in October is 2 inches of rain. So I want you to keep that in mind and pay attention to your rhythm, your calendar. Elder's not here, but he's a witness to my wife. She's a poor witness. She lives with me. She alive for me. So I can't use her as my witness. But Elder William Smith, y'all call him Bishop, he was with us in 2018, Queen? Yes. 2018. 2018, I'm still learning. I'm following a brother who's older than me, and I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. So we set our calendar up with a 13-month calendar that year. And we have reserved the mountains up in Asheville. And so we reserved the mountains, put the money out there, people got their vacation approved. And then in the course of that year, I found that the 13 months was paid. So 2019, we switched all our fees from 13 months to 12 months, but we had already put money out for tabernacles. So when we got up the tabernacles to the mountains, I wish Elder was here, it rained the whole time. Me and Elder out there barbecuing. Y'all know, brother, we're going to barbecue. We got to feed the people. Me and Elder out there barbecuing. He's holding a tarp over me. And I'm trying to light the grill. We got fire starter logs. I got gas. It rained we got there Friday night. It rained. Saturday, we had baptism scheduled. It was like, okay, if it's heavy rain, we ain't going to do it. It started drizzling, so we got baptism done. That was October. So that's verifying if your Feast of Tabernacles is in October, you done crossed into the Israelite rainy season, winter. Why would Abba Yah have you in makeshift tabernacles in cold and winter and rain? Abba wouldn't do that to you. No. So pay attention to your feast. If it's cold and raining, I see y'all. Y'all out there in coats around the fire. We got witnesses here. This past in 2021, we did tabernacles in August. My grandson was born August 27th. It was a Friday. We got out there Friday. I had off work. I was sweating putting my tent together. And y'all know we Hebrews, right? So I have my fans. we don't camp, we glam. They like, Maureen, you got a fan out here? You best believe I got a fan out here. So we're sweating out there in August 27th through the 29th. Chef was our chef for the weekend. We got a fan on Chef, keeping him cool. We're sweating. Little baby's playing in the water. The very next week, when September comes in, I'm like, whoa, it's kind of cold. I just got to the bayou. I was like, yeah, we noticed that too. I said, that's confirmation that we're in rhythm with Abba Yah. So get this document and pay attention to your calendar. Y'all wouldn't have you camping out in cold and rainy seasons. That's a sign that you're out of rhythm, family. Sign that you're out of rhythm. Next witness, this is another Dr. Seminary Uncle's Bible Dictionary. If you go around some seminary people, I guarantee you they got some dusty books in their closet from these people. So this is Uncle's Bible Dictionary. And this is the section on climate. Because of the diversity of elevations from Hermon's snow, Mount Hermon, from Hermon's snowy 9,101 feet to the Dead Sea, Sea's tropical 1,290 feet below sea level, a great variety of plants and animal life is found. In the hill country, Jerusalem, in the hill country, prevailing winds will create adequate rains from October to April. Our rains are coming from October to April. Father don't want you in the cold with your babies, because it says, who has to celebrate tabernacles, family? What does the text say? Everybody. Why would we want our babies out here in the rain? It doesn't make sense. So just start to pay attention to what's going on, family. From October to April, east winds from the desert bring intense heat and discomfort. 2 seasons characterize Palestine. Palestine is a disrespect. They changed our city's name. That's Israel or Yah'S. 2 seasons characterize Israel. Winter, moist, rainy, and mild, lasting from November to April, and then summer, hot and rainless, lasting from May to October. They're a little off, but you get the context. There's 2 seasons in our Bible. There's 2 seasons in our land. Winter and summer. We know nothing about these other 2 seasons that the Greeks made up. All right. So this is Josephus, and he is an Israelite, but they have Renaissance him. So if you Google him, he's not going to look like you. He's not going to look like a Levite, but he is an Israelite. Our families didn't like him. We looked at him as a sellout. When the Romans came in, Josephus winds up helping the Romans. But he records things for us, right? So this is Josephus' Antiquity of the Jews. This is book 3, chapter 10, paragraph 4. This too is available online as a PDF, free of charge. This is page 95, Antiquity of the Jews, right? And this is a chapter concerning the festivals, how each day of such festival is to be observed, right? Now, we got to filter him because he's a Talmudist. So even though they may be Israelites, we still got to filter if they're Talmudists, right? But let's read what he says. I'm going to drop down to paragraph 2, right? But on the 7th month, which the Macedonians call whatever, they make an addition to those already mentioned and sacrifice a bull and a ram and 7 lambs and a kid of goats for sins. What feast in the 7th month is he talking about, family? Not the 7th. What we start the 7th month with? Trumpets. So he's starting us with the 7th month. It's the 7th month. This Feast of Trumpets, the first day of the 7th month. If this was the 7th month, this would be Feast of Trumpets for us, right? So he's talking about the 7th month, right? Now, for the sake of time, let's drop down paragraph 3. He's still talking about the 7th month, right? Am I going too fast? I feel like I don't want to lose y'all, but I feel like I can get through this boring history. Y'all good? Yeah. All right. So on the 10th day of the same lunar month, what feast is that? Not y'all. What feast is on the 10th day of the 7th month? Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement. It's very big for us. So on the 10th day of the same month, same 7th month, they fast till the evening, and this day they sacrifice a bull and 2 rams and 7 lambs. So I just want y'all to process it. It's still the 7th month. The 10th day is the Day of Atonement. Let's drop down to paragraph 4. Upon the 15th day of the same month, what month is it? 7th month, the 15th day, what feast is it? Tabernacles, right? We're in Tabernacles. Upon the 15th day of the same month, when the season of the year is changing for winter. Tabernacles for us is the first day of winter. Our 6 months of winter goes 15th day of the 7th month to the 15th day of the 1st month is winter. So the day of unleavened bread starts summer for us. That's what Yah'S sets up for us. So this is just a chart. You can download it, copy it, verify it. And I used the wrong colors. It's not showing up. Can y'all see that? So I apologize, man. I've been trying to keep things live. I gotta keep these young folks engaged, you know. Got all kind of tricks with these young folks. They got all kind of devices. So the first month of our year is Abda. On the 15th of Abda is unleavened bread. That starts summer. So our 6 months of summer is the 15th or unleavened bread to the 6th month, all the way to the 15th of the 7th month. So if you do the math, I ain't good at math, but if you do the math, that's 6 months. Our summer is unleavened bread until the feast to the Feast of Tabernacles. That's summer. Winter starts Tabernacles on. That's our 2 seasons. Y'all verify me because I'm not a math student. That's our 6 months of summer. Our winter months start Day of Tabernacles. He just ain't going to spring winter on you. It's going to get gradual. So the 6 months of winter, Tabernacles, all the way to the 12th month to the 15th. Y'all double check me because I'm not a math student, but that's our 2 seasons. Winter and summer, they're 6 months each. We know nothing about spring and autumn. All this is a sun worship, is adoration. Now, y'all ready to celebrate the great I am?
Yes.
Y'all ready to celebrate the great I am? Hallelujah. Build up. Let's go. So, as I open up, I grew up in church. Me and my wife came out the streets, and we got back in the church, and I was church hurt. I'm like, listen, babe, listen. I'm not doing this Easter thing. We're going, but I ain't getting no new suit. I ain't getting no new shoe. I said, we're gonna make our own shirts up. So we went to the mall or something. We went to the mall and had some white t-shirts. We just put "He is risen." So everyone in the church had their little Easter outfits on, and He is risen. He is risen. The tomb is empty. Thank God, the tomb is empty. Yeah, that's very important. But you just took from the Most High. Pasach is about the Father's goodness to His people, and now He brought His goodness through the blood of His Son. They missed that. So we're going to restore honor to the great I am. Let's go to Exodus 13. We're going to cut these short. Exodus 13, verses 1 through 19. I'm going to let you go. Exodus 13, verses 1 through 19. This is all giving glory and honor to our Father for His faithfulness, for His goodness to our nation. Read.
And Yahweh spoke unto Moses or Moshe, saying, Sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever openeth the womb among the children of Yasharal or Israel, both of man and of beast, it is mine. And Moses said unto the people, Remember this day, in which ye came out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, for by strength of hand Yahweh brought you out from this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten. This day came ye out in the month Abiyah, and it shall be when Yahweh shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee, a land flowing with milk and honey, that thou shalt keep this service in this month. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and in the 7th day shall be a feast unto Yahweh. Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days, and there shall no leavened bread be seen with thee, neither shall there be leaven seen with thee in all thy quarters. And thou shalt show thy son in that day, saying, This is done because of that which Yahweh did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt.
We're supposed to teach this to our sons and our sons' sons. It's simple. Y'all made this dummy proof. Y'all know those series of Computing for Dummies and IT for Dummies. This, anytime you listen to a teacher, he's getting all sophisticated with a bunch of this and that, like, whoa, something ain't right. We're supposed to be able to teach this to your grandbaby. And she said, yeah, Papa, I see that. It's simple. This life is simple. When anybody started getting all complicated, putting burdens on you, and you got to go around the moon and circle this, come back, double check their resources. Read on.
Verse 9. And it shall be for a sign unto thee upon thine hand, and for a memorial between thine eyes, a mark, so to speak, that Yahweh's law may be in thy mouth. For with a strong hand hath Yahweh brought thee out of Egypt.
I gotta let this flow, family. We're gonna get to it. But there's this false doctrine going around. We addressed it yesterday. I'm not causing division or strife in the community, but judgment starts at Israel.
Yes,
Judgment starts with us.
Yes, it does.
So there's a doctrine, and I know it's babes in here, so I want to be responsible. But Pasach is messianic. When you don't understand these hieroglyphs, you miss Messiah. Messiah is all through our culture. Read that again out.
Verse 9. And it shall be for a sign unto thee upon thine hand, and for a memorial between thine eyes, that Yahweh's law may be in thy mouth. For with a strong hand,
strong arm. The arm, the glyph of the arm is the arm of a man that gives us our Yah sound. That Yah represents the Most High, because with your arm you create. So he's the creator, he's the great I am. But his right arm is his son, Yahweh. So don't get duped. Be careful who you listen. You can't eat everybody's table. They sound deep and got this source. When you start moving away from Messiah, you got a spirit of wickedness on you. I would try to help you, but it's going to come to a point. I'm Judah. I'm going to protect me and mine. You're going to get Will Smith. I don't play about my nation. This is not a game. We're holy people trying to resurrect the holy people. Be careful who you listen to. This is not for games. This is not for entertainment. We are holy, righteous people serving a righteous Elohim, a righteous God. You know how.
Verse 10, thou shalt therefore keep this ordinance in his season from year to year. And it shall be when Yahweh shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites, as he sware unto thee and to thy fathers, and shall give it thee, that thou shalt set apart unto Yahweh all that openeth the matrix.
All right, for the sake of time, let's just skip over to verse 14. This is giving honor to the great I am.
Verse 14, and it shall be when thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, what is this? That thou shalt say unto him, by strength of hand, Yahweh brought us out from Egypt,
The mighty arm
from the house of bondage.
from America,
And it
from
came,
UK. He's bringing us out again with his great arm. Everything he's doing for you is by his son. You think the great I am is going to come down to this filthy hell? Got children here. He's not coming down to this cesspool. That's why he sent his son. Read on.
verse 15, and it came to pass when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, Biden would hardly let us go, that Yahweh slew all the firstborn in the land of America, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of beast. Therefore I sacrifice to Yahweh all that openeth the matrix, being males, but all the firstborn of my children I redeem.
So if you don't understand a culture, you missed that. The firstborn of my cattle, I sacrifice to Abba. The firstborn of my loins, I redeem. I dedicate to him. That's why we dedicate the firstborn sons to him. That's what that means. So it's simple. Daddy, why are you doing this? Because your father in the heavens is a strong Elohim. He's a good father. He brought us out of bondage with a strong arm. It's simple stuff, family. Don't get caught on these little Instagram and on social media gurus and stars with their little presentations. This life is simple. Read on.
Verse 16, and that shall be for a token upon thine hand, and for frontlets between thine eyes. For by strength of hand Yahweh brought us forth out of Egypt. And it came to pass when Pharaoh had let the people go, that Elohim led them not through the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near. For Elohim said, lest peradventure the people repent when they see war, and they return to Egypt. But Elohim led the people about through the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea. And the children of Yasharallah went up harnessed out of the land of Egypt. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had straitly sworn the children of Yasharallah, saying, Elohim will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones away hence with you.
So this is giving honor to the great I am. He's bringing us again out of this spiritual Egypt with a strong arm. You're not going to reap anything from Abba without his son. Hallelujah. So let's go to Exodus 12. Let's back up. Exodus 12, verses 12 to 13. So the word Pasach in the Hebrew, the pa is the open mouth. Because when you make peace sounds, you open your mouth. So the pa is an open mouth. The sa, again, the sa is the sticker bush. You protect things, you hide things, or you can use it as a weapon. So Pasach, and then the tent wall covers us, keeps us protected. So Pasach, there was a gap, there was a hole between us and the Father. So the blood covers us, protects us. So everybody who wasn't obedient, not living by grace, if you're not obedient, doing something, you're not Pasach, you're not covered. That's what this means. You got to do something. You can speak in 15,000 tongues if you want. You can believe someone's going to hire you until you get online and ain't nobody hiring you. Me and my wife joke all the time. You know somebody ain't employed when you see them with the one ads. Yeah, he ain't got no job. You got to do something, family. You got to do something. So let's go to Exodus 12, verses 12 to 13. Shema. Exodus 12, verses 12 to 13. Read.
For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am Yahweh. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you.
The blood covered our house. Now the blood is covering your temple, your personal house. If you're not baptized back into this covenant in the name of his son, whatever dialect you understand, he knows what you're trying to say. If it's not Yeshua, Yahweh, or Yehoshua, you're not covered by his blood. So that blood is going to again pass over us when Yahweh brings down vengeance upon this earth. Anybody got cable? You been watching Ukraine? That's God's vengeance. That's prophecy. Those are Khazars who put us on ships. We'll cry for these people. So we're going to cut this short. Let's go to Zechariah 13 because Christ is a cat. I know most of y'all have been baptized, went into the water, you came up, you live in commandments, but we're never, ever clean people. We're always going to need a covering. We're always going to need him to look over and forget about our faults. People get puffed up, and I know all these precepts, and I'm cutting them down, I know this one. I don't care if you know all of them from cover to cover. You're filthy. We always going to need covering. Zechariah 13. Zechariah 13, and just let's read a couple verses. The whole chapter, for the sake of time, I'm cutting this short, but read all this chapter. Verse 1.
Zechariah 13, Zechariah 13, verse 1. In that day there shall be a fountain open to the house of David and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and for uncleanness.
Somebody help this man out. A fountain open to the world? To the Christians?
A fountain open to the house of David.
I can't. My wife don't want to trust. That's what she don't do away. A fountain open to the Catholics, to the Protestants.
In that day, they shall be a fountain open to the house of David.
You see why they don't want to read this so-called Old Testament? You see, we don't need the apocryphal books. I don't need the new so-called New Testament. I can tell you what's going on with these Torah-only books. This fountain is open to the house of David, the Israelites. We're still going to be cleansing, and this is a future tense. Let's read a couple more just to get the context.
Verse 2. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh Tathaba, the Lord of hosts, that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land.
I'm passing over again. I'm overlooking y'all ignorance. I'm having mercy. Where you get this mercy showed up in the New Testament? His mercy been with us the whole time. His grace been with us the whole time. Where you get something new at? Come on.
I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land, and they shall no more be remembered. And also I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirit to pass out of the land.
Everybody who's been oppressing us with sun worship lies to us, and you keep this civil. I know you got a lot of friends. you can recognize when they're making stuff up. Because you'll ask them a question and they'll start like you see, well, you gotta understand. Those are all context clues you don't know. Just brother, say you don't know, I'm still building. So our God is going to get rid of all these wicked super chat chasing, PayPal chasing people. He's going to get them away from us and have mercy on us. He's passing over our wickedness.
So just really quick, because I just saw this when I read verse 2. I'm going to read verse 2 again, and then I'm going to bring out the thought that I'm having. Verse 2, and it shall come to pass in that day, says Yahweh Tazabayam, or Yahuwah Zabaoth, that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land. Now, everybody knows we're made out of earth. We came from the dust, right? So when you read this verse, it has Hamashiach in it, or Messiah. When he went to the man possessed with a demon, he said, what is your name? What did the man say? Legion, for we are many.
Come on.
And he said, come out of the man and don't come into him no more, right? Pass out of the land and never come back. He cast out the names of the idols.
All praises. That's the understanding we get being lawful people. But why do we buy for that? For the sake of time, we're just going to pull two more witnesses. Let's go to Yah'S or Isaiah. Yah'S or Isaiah. Isaiah 38 and 17. And I'm not sure. I might have pulled these from the Septuagint. Okay, I remember. 38 and 17.
It says, behold for peace. Shema.
Read.
Behold, for peace I had great bitterness, but thou hast in love to my soul delivered it from the pit of corruption.
Thou hast delivered me from the pit of corruption. Father is doing this, waking us up, not because we're scholars, you can read a dictionary. He's doing all this for his name's sake. This is him passing over, having mercy on us, family. You're never clean, you're never Mr. I got it all. I'm a scholar, I'm a rabbi. We all dirtbags, family. This is endless love for us. For the sake of time, let's drop down to Matthew 121. Matthew 121. Matthew 121. Shema. Read.
And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yah'S. For he shall save his people from their sins.
What are sins?
The transgression of the law.
Who was the law given to?
Yah'S.
So the Messiah we waiting on, he's coming first for his people. He still is coming back and has to reteach us, rebaptize us. All my brothers in here, you may have to get cut again. That's the facts of the case. We got cut by wicked kings or doctors. Yah'S got to cleanse us up again. But it's his love for us that he's passing over us. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to, for the sake of time, let's go to Luke 1, and we're going to drop down to the last part of it. Luke 1, verses 49 to 55. This is sweet. This is sweet. Luke 1 and drop down to 49.
Shema.
Shema? Read.
For he that is mighty hath done to me great things, and holy is his name. And his mercy is on them that fear him from generation to generation. He hath showed strength with his arm. He hath scattered the proud.
He showed strength with what?
His arm.
His what?
His arm.
What does arm mean? Yah'S. Every time you see arm in the text, it's referring to the Son. So for someone to get on their platform and tell you that Pasach has no messianic tones, they have been adulterated with a spirit of Satan. I'm just going to be nice. Be careful who you listen to. Be careful who you associate with. This Pasach has messianic tones all through it when you come back to the hieroglyphs. Read on.
He hath scattered the proud in the imagination of their hearts. He hath put down the mighty from their seats and exalted them of low degree. He hath filled the hungry with good things, and the rich he hath sent empty away. He hath opened his servant Yah'S in remembrance of his mercy, as he spake to our fathers Abraham and to his seed forever.
He spoke to Abraham and his seed forever. This is physical seed, no spiritual convert. I can say the ABCs and I backflip, and I can prophesy, I can speak in 15 tongues, and I heal 10 people. Y'all may help them 10 people because of their belief, not because he's using you, because those people thought he was using you, and y'all touched that person. But this thing is for Abraham's physical seed. He's having mercy on us. For the sake of time, let's go to the end. Let's go to the end. Let's go to Revelations. Revelations 21, verses 1 through 7. Revelations 21, verses 1 through 7. Read.
And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem or Jerusalem, coming down from Elohim out of Shemayim, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of Elohim is with men.
Wait a minute. I thought good people go to heaven. Be a good servant, you get heaven in the by and by. Yah is coming back to tabernacle with us. We're not sure when and how soon this is, but when it's all said and done, Father is coming back to tabernacle with the sons of Jacob. Big Mama, Pop, everybody you missed that you put in the dirt, they're still in the dirt. They're resting, they're asleep. Israelites go to sleep, and they're going to have a chance to resurrect and hear the gospel again. How do I know this? I hate saying stuff without sources. When Hamashiach went in the grave the first time, what did he say he did? He preached to the generation of Noah. So our family members who died without knowing, died holy rollers, they're going to have a chance again, but they're in the earth sleep. No one is ever going to where Hamashiach and the angels are. Finish that up.
Verse 3, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of Elohim is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Elohim himself shall be with them.
Talking good.
And be their Elohim. And Elohim shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. And there shall be no more death.
What brings death, family?
Sin.
So even after Hamashiach comes and sets us back up, his Father still coming down and taking away death. I'm ignoring all what y'all did, even when my son was here. You know.
Neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, it is done. I am the and Tithe, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely.
This water of life is the Son. The Father's saying, if you're thirsting, I'm going to overlook all what y'all do. I know y'all don't know everything perfectly. I know you can't pronounce my name. I'm not worried about that. Just hold on to what you do understand, and my son's going to again pass over and get my people back together. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let's jump over to Revelation 22, verses 1 through 5. Revelation 22, 1 through 5. Read.
And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb, in the midst of the street of it. And on either side of the river was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month.
I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but it says 12 manner of fruits, and it's bearing its fruit every month. 12 manner of fruit every month.
12 months.
In the future, all I'm seeing is 12 months. The Father says, I established the earth from the beginning, and nothing has changed. We still see sun setting and sun rising. So where you get this new thing about a 13th month? You got to give me receipts. Don't let people push these. Where did you get this from? I'm saying, brothers, you sound so deep, but you don't give us the sources. I see them hitting your cash app and your super chat, but you got people in sun worship. We are holy people, family. Read on.
And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb shall be in it.
Any Bereans here? What brought the curse? Sin. So if the sin brought the curse, who was under the curse? 2 plus 2 is 4. We're not breaking this down. We're not what they say, little exegete and eisegete and this people I'm Hebrew. I read the text. We're not breaking this down, Dr. Seminary. He says that it's 12 manner of fruit every month. It's for the healing of the nation. I see y'all faces up. I don't want to scare you audience. It's wartime, family. They have dumped us down and domiciled us so bad. When you see another man slap another man, shut up. We are to protect our family at all costs. I don't care if it's fake or not. I don't get caught in the Hollywood, but I'm talking about in real life. We protect our nation at all costs. They beat us down so bad. This is about how we are. This is about how we are. So this is about.
And his servants shall serve him.
Verse
4. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads and minds. And there shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun. For Yahweh Elohim giveth them light.
Where's this at, family? Where do they never need a sun or moon at?
The Garden of Eden.
We're going back to the garden, family. Everything the first Adam lost, the second Adam is going to restore to us. Adam didn't know about the sun until he sinned. He was in his original state. He was glorious. He outshined the sun. Where my 90 fellas at? I call my brother's son because he shone like one. Adam was made in glorious state, outshining the sun. But when he fell and missed it, Abba had to, because he loved him, Abba had mercy and put flesh on him. We're going back to that state if you hold on to the end, fam. Hallelujah. Finish that up.
Verse 5. There shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun. For Yahweh Elohim giveth them light, and they shall reign forever and ever.
They're reigning forever and ever. Now, I'm not the smartest man. I didn't finish my diploma and get all these degrees and stuff. What does the word reign pertains to? What type of people reign? Kings and queens. Now, let me keep it in context, because kings and queens is a demotion. The other nations had kings and queens. We are rulers, powers, and we're going to reign with our Father and our King. Hallelujah. So, my goal was to restore honor to the Father. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see the honor going back to the Father? But we don't discount his son. We don't discount his son. His son has paid the ultimate price so we can be here saying we're Israel. So we can be here wearing fridges, looking beautiful, eating lamb. How many of y'all had lamb before y'all came into this awakening? I had no lamb. Yeah, I had. I didn't know no lamb. But the son paid for this. So I want to show you real quick the power of these hieroglyphs. We call them Hebrewisms. I'm going to show you that his son, our king, has been with us the whole time, and Pasach is all Messiah. Let's go back to Joshua 5:9. And isn't it ironic that Joshua's true name is Yahweh, God is salvation, and he's the one bringing us into Canaan the first time? Yahweh, Yah's salvation brought us into Canaan the first time, and God's salvation is going to bring us out of Egypt again. That's why we esteem his name above all names. That's why we bow down to him. I mention him everywhere I go. They see me dressed in my garb. So y'all, I was in the store last week before Shabbat, and go to Lowe's. Young brother's like, he helped me. He was like, Assalamu alaikum. I said, well, we say shalom. We're Hebrews. Well, okay, I just got baptized. Oh, wow. What did you get baptized into? Jesus. I said, well, you know, that's not his true name, but you should get baptized in the true name. But do y'all believe in one God? Absolutely. I believe in his son. Every chance I get, I put the son out there. If you don't know this hieroglyphs, you don't know the culture, you're going to get Torah only, and this Passover ain't about the Messiah. Let's show you how it is. Joshua 5:9. Everything we do points to the Messiah. Joshua 5:9. Read.
And Yahweh said unto Yahushua, Joshua, this day have I rolled away the reproach of Mitzrayim, Egypt, from off you. Wherefore the name of this place is called Gagal unto this day.
If you don't mind marketing your text, I see most of y'all got digital. I know your old folks in the digital. Y'all don't follow these kids. Even the old generation got digital. I try to resist. But if you got your hard copy, if you can make notes in your device, it says, Joshua says he removed the reproach from the children of Israel. He removed the reproach, And then he called this place Galgal. He removed the reproach and called the place Galgal. And let's go back up to verse 7 or 8 where he circumcised the people. I'm going to show you the Messiah has been with us the whole time. Read.
And their children whom he raised up in their stead, them Joshua Yah'S circumcised, for they were uncircumcised, because they had not circumcised them by the way.
Keep on.
And it came to pass, when they had done circumcising all the people, that they abode in their places in the camp till they were whole. And Yahweh said unto Joshua Yah'S, this day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt.
Who spoke to Joshua?
Yahweh said unto Joshua.
The Most High is speaking to Yah'S. The Most High is speaking to this salvation. And he's saying what?
This day I have rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off of you.
I have rolled away the reproach of Egypt off of you. I know that y'all think if your daddies didn't circumcise y'all in the desert, I should have killed y'all in the wilderness, but I had grace and mercy and brought y'all through anyway. But now, Yah'S, Yah salvation, do what I commanded your fathers to do. Cut these boys, blood is running. I see the blood. Now I'm passing over all the reproaches that y'all brought with Egypt with you. If you look up that word in a lexicon, reproach is galal. Galal means I'm removing the reproach, right? So let's go for the sake of time, let's go just get right to it. Let's go to Matthew 27:33. People reject these letters, but it shows me you don't have the spirit of a Mashiach with you, because when you read these letters, you can extract the adulterations. The Most High will tell you that's not authentic. But when you just follow superstars and all these sages, you can't see it in these letters. So now you want to go to baby out the path. Fast, pray, study, and repeat. I will talk to you. I will talk to you. Matthew 27, verse 33, Shema. Read.
And when they were come unto a place called Golgotha or Gilgal, this to say a place of a skull. That's it.
So, for the sake of time, I won't take y'all through it. This is Messiah's crucifixion. They took him to a place, and this text you're reading has been in the hands of pagans. They can't understand the Hebrew. We have been through Greek captivity, now the Roman captivity. They're telling you they took our king to a place called Golgotha, and this is the place of stone, a place of skulls. And when you use a lexicon, there again, apparently, I think so, might be, they're saying if you go to the valley, this mountain looks like a skull, so we're calling it the place of skulls. It's not the place of skulls. It's the same place where Joshua in the Old Testament circumcised us, and Abba says, I'm removing the reproach off y'all. Now they got our king outside the city, and his blood is dripping, and his blood is removing the reproach off of us. That's Galgal. Our king has been with us the whole time, being our soldier, being our angel, bringing us through these people, and he's going to bring us back home again. Hallelujah. So, last two slides, because again, I'm dark skinned with a bald head, I got to give you receipts. I tell the family, when you're looking at these old maps, try to identify the rivers first, because I guess through the power of God, most of the rivers' names are not changed, or you can still make out the location where they're at. So this is Joshua's generation. This is when we're coming into Canaan the first time. And you see that little arrow there, Gilgal? This is where Joshua circumcised us, and he called the place, well, Yah told him, I have removed the reproach off y'all. So Joshua called the place Gilgal, but in our tongue it would be Galagala or Galgal. I removed the reproach. This is Joshua's generation. The arrow here is pointing to Jericho, right? You see the city of Adam still there? So this is ancient because the city of Adam is right there, right? So you go to the New Testament generation, you still see that river, you still see Jericho, and you see Jerusalem, This is the same place where our King removed the reproach off us with his own blood. Everybody see that? This is why we esteem Yah'S above all, and we give thanks to his Father for sending him to redeem us and clean us up again. Hallelujah. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to my aunt. I thank you for your time and your attention.
Can we just clap our hands and just